The European Union is very much involved in wanting to help with the Palestinians in terms of getting people fed. But the area of Gaza, another way of defining it is the area of Gaza. It's a very troubled place, and it has been for many, many years. It has been for many decades.
Yeah, President Trump calls Gaza a, quote, very troubled place and addresses concerns over potential starvation in the war-torn region. The Israeli military began limiting pauses in fighting in 3 populated areas of the Strip to allow for more aid to get in. Let's bring in Alex Gray, former White House National Security Counsel, Chief of Staff under Trump. Alex, great to have you on the show as always. What do you think about the pause? We're talking about 10 hours a day, roughly, of pause to get more aid in, mostly airdrops. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, thanks for having me, Trace. And I think we can tell from President Trump's comments something that all of us who work for him know, which is just how much of a heart he has for the humanitarian suffering of people in conflict zones all over the world, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Gaza. But the reality is, and we look at this pause, and we're seeing the Israelis are having to take it upon themselves to do this pause because the folks on the other side of the table, Hamas, are going to do everything they can to hold civilians hostage until they can get their way in this conflict. And so the Israelis are doing something I think is very generous to suspend military operations in this way. But the reality, Trace, is that Hamas, as long as they are operating as a militant force in Gaza, they will be the fundamental problem that's leading to this horrible humanitarian crisis.
In fact, on that note, you had Matt Friedman in the Free Press writing the following, quoting here, searching for the truth in an information war, goes on to say, quote, you might have thought that hunger in Gaza would work against Hamas, forcing the group to have mercy on its own civilians and accept the ceasefire desired by Israel and the U.S. and currently under discussion in Qatar. But Hamas knows that the opposite is true. The disaster they have engineered in Gaza fuels the global campaign against Israel. I mean, Hamas has been doing this for a very long time, Alex.
Yeah, Trace, Hamas are expert at using the suffering of their own people, often imposed by Hamas itself, to generate the outrage and to generate the response they want from the global community. So Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, has responded by saying he's going to recognize the Palestinian Authority. That's his response to Hamas's depredations against its own people. This is what Hamas specializes in. And, you know, frankly, we have to change the fundamental dynamic in the Gaza Strip and take away Hamas's ability to act as the representative of people who we're now seeing want nothing to do with Hamas if we ever want to have a change in the facts on the ground there.
Yeah, meantime, kind of switching topics here a little bit, you had the president saying today that he's giving Russia 2 weeks, 12 days to reach a peace deal in Ukraine or face big-time tariffs, mainly tariffs on the trade partners of Russia. Putin doesn't really seem to care about these threats very much. What do you think?
Well, he's going to care when President Trump ultimately does exactly what he did in his first term, which is use every leverage of American power to show Putin that this is the first president in 25, even 30 years who he cannot intimidate and he cannot bully. And there's a reason why the only American president since the end of the Cold War that Vladimir Putin did not engage in territorial aggression under was Donald Trump in his first term, because he knew that when President Trump says, I am going to hold you accountable, he's going to have to pay a real price. And I think that's what these tariffs are going to do. It's going to show Putin that his options for maneuver are over.
Yeah, 30 seconds, Alex, but does it push Putin to the negotiating table to get this thing at least in the works?
Well, I think, Trace, we absolutely have the leverage economically, and we have the ability, particularly now that the president says he's going to be putting arms sales to Ukraine back on the table. We absolutely have the leverage to bring the Russians to the negotiating table and to accomplish what the president has said he wants to do and what's in our national interest, which is to get into this fighting as soon as possible so we can focus on more important threats to our security than the fighting in Eastern Europe.
Yeah. Alex Gray, good analysis as always, sir. Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.